Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
I think that this world, it needs men that are willing to make the hard call.
Central Maine's best comics podcast, by default.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Here are your hosts, Zach and Jared.
Matt's coming. No. When do we start?
Welcome back. Okay.
You need a lozenge or some sort of some chloroseptic, maybe.
I have a beer.
Oh, okay, well, it's kind of a soothing throat thing.
Soothes my throat and my spirit.
Well, let me try this. Welcome back to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast. Day late and $1 short as always. Well, not always a day late, but definitely $1 short.
It's a day late for the Patreon people.
I'm sorry, Patreon people.
It's your fault. You had to go visit your grandmother.
I'm sorry that I went and spent time with family. You're guilty. That was a passive-aggressive statement about me going to spend time with my family.
No, I had a terrible, terrible joke about... Never mind.
Okay. Thank you.
It involved the elderly, their memory, and their time on this world.
Oh, you are a real jerk. I can sense where you're going with it, and it wasn't pleasant.
Yep. You ready for some quickie movie reviews, things I saw in the last week?
Oh, yes, please. Give me some quickie movie review. Oh, well, first of all, how was your weekend?
It's fine. I saw some movies.
Nice. So this is you're telling me about your weekend?
I guess.
I had a good trip. Thanks for asking, by the way.
I thought so.
Yeah, drove out, had fun. Brought you back a souvenir.
Yeah, for not killing your cat.
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate you checking in on the cat. And no, it was a good time. Long drive. What I should have done was listen to some of the podcasts. I could have listened to 11 and a half podcasts on the way out and back.
Oh, of ours, don't.
That's 25 podcasts I could have listened to. I could have listened to the first quarter of the show's history. Pretty sure if I had done that, my mom would have wanted to jump out of the moving vehicle.
Well, guess what I do with my time?
Yeah.
That she disown you.
I spend an hour a week doing this, and she probably goes, oh, really? Well, you're no son of mine anymore.
Ghost of the Shell, Redbox that.
Yeah, how was that? Okay.
Boring and stupid.
Okay.
Don't rent it.
Okay, don't read it.
End of story. Saw Dunkirk at the drive-in.
Yes.
It's fine. It's very technical. Perfectly serviceable movie. Technical wonder. Zero emotion.
Okay, thank you. So, Redbox it.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, Redbox it.
You know, if you scratch behind your ear, it'll pick up. You can lick yourself later.
He's talking to Kirby, not me.
War for the Planet of the Apes. Loved it. They say they're going to do more. I don't think they should. It's a great trilogy.
See it in theaters?
Yeah.
Okay,
Good
see it in
movie.
theaters. Okay, so far we're 1 for 3. 1.5 for 3.
That's all I had. I'm sorry. That's all the new movies I saw this
Okay.
week.
Well, technically one of them isn't like super new.
New to me.
Fair enough.
I guess that's all I got. From there,
Oh, okay. I don't really have much else to add. Saw an Amish guy smoking a cigar and talking on a cell phone.
it wasn't very Amish now,
Well,
was
there was a lot going on there that I still have yet to process. Apparently, there are some Amish sects that allow you to use cell phones now, like for emergencies or to keep contact with people. But where they don't have electricity, like they keep at their neighbor's house, apparently. Like especially like for emergency contact, like calling for, an ambulance or something like that. I don't think they're like texting or like on whereamishpeoplemeet.com or anything like that.
I mean, much like the elderly, they're really short for this world. Let's get into the news.
Oh, wow.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
News came out this week that was the least surprising news imaginable. The last Fantastic Four writer, Jonathan Hickman, the comic book Fantastic Four, not movie, said that the reason that there isn't a Fantastic Four book at Marvel right now is because they're in a pissing contest with Fox. My words, not his. I'm just abbreviating. And my reaction to that news was...
Shocking.
Yeah. Everyone figured that out.
We knew from the start.
Yeah. So, breaking news, years after that book was canceled.
Fox and Marvel are in a pissing contest?
Yeah.
Oh, who
But-
knew?
The X-Men make more money, so they get to stay around. And also, Fox is making decent enough X-Men movies for people to be interested in buying
X-Men books. Oh.
Maybe if Fox made a decent Fantastic Four movie, people would want to buy those books more.
Shots fired. Accurate shots.
Get it together, Fox. But yeah, that was of no surprise.
Would you say they're foxing up again? No? No? Not even a little bit?
Bunch of sticks over there.
A bunch of fox sticks? Is that what you
Yes.
said? Oh.
Speaking of things that are
Clever
terrible,
boy.
it's not what I said.
I know it's not what you said. I was trying to make it cleaner for the family-friendly radio show.
The first review for Inhumans came out, and this one came from an individual who liked Iron Fist. Put up first, like, I've loved everything Marvel has done. One of the few that even liked Iron Fist. And this is terrible.
That's not a good sign for the Inhumans.
He called it the worst thing the creator Scott Buck has ever done. So we'll see soon enough, I guess. But bye, dog.
It was nice of Kirby to visit with us for the first part of the news.
Don't eat the cat. Why are you over? Kirby, come here. I don't trust you.
Oh, Kirby's back.
Welcome back, dog.
That was a short-lived hiatus from the dog.
Yeah, so first reviews for this, not good.
No?
Whatever, it's only going to be 8 episodes. I'll suffer through.
Yeah, that's 8 hours of your life that you will never get back. Maybe it'll be pleasantly surprised. We were pleasantly surprised by something that got bad reviews.
Yeah, we'll see. Speaking of the Dark Tower, I don't know if that was my transition speaking of, but sometimes it works. A showrunner has been picked for the Dark Tower TV series. The idea is that there's going to be TV shows in between movies that tell some of the backstory of the characters. This would be accurate to the books. There's a couple of the books that are entirely prequels.
Mm-hmm.
And it is going to be Glenn Mazzara, previous executive producer on Walking Dead. Dark Tower is #1 at the box office, but we'll see if it makes enough money to warrant a TV show and sequels.
But while they were doing
likely.
They were doing surveys after screenings. Would you like to see a TV series? And it was getting decent run. It sounded like people had some interest in it. Now with the TV series, how would you do that with Idris Elba as
you wouldn't
Roland?
Be a younger version of him.
Oh, okay. So it'd be back to like the books.
Yeah.
Okay.
Netflix has acquired its first comic book company. This is the third time in history this has ever happened. First one would be Warner Brothers buying DC, Disney buying Marvel, and now Netflix has purchased Millar World of Mark Millar. We've covered 2 of his books on this show already, but through Marvel, he did Civil War, Old Man Logan. But he mostly has creator-owned stuff. Some of the ones that, Kingsman is coming out, that's his. Kick-Ass has had its run in theaters. Most recently, he did a really great series, Reborn. I don't need to feel everything he's done. He's done a ton.
Yes.
Enough that he has his own brand where he calls it Millar World.
Well, this is probably a move in response to Disney announcing that they were going to be pulling all their stuff off of Netflix in, 2019?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden Netflix loses all the Marvel movies, so they need to kind of fill that superhero void somehow. Because they're also going to lose the TV series, I would imagine, too. So they won't have, all the Marvel TV series stuff.
I don't know. Those are 2 separate divisions. Who knows? I'm sure I've said it before. I'll say it again. I like him as a writer 85% of the time. He's the guy who likes to... There's always the thing. Like the big subversive thing he does. He's like, look at this. This is punk rock. This is comics.
Metal.
Yeah, and it's always like, was that rape really necessary to the story?
I don't think it ever is.
It's usually stuff like that. But we'll see. It might be TV, it might be movies. This is kind of new territory. And this is also the smallest company that's ever been purchased. Like I said, comparatively to Marvel or DC. But Netflix coming up in the world.
Well, they did take a little bit of a stock hit on Tuesday when Disney announced that they were going to be pulling their stuff off of Netflix.
I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, they're the largest streaming subscription service in the country. So, although Hulu's coming up and Disney announcing they're going to have their own streaming service as well.
Yeah, everyone's saying that. I don't like that. I'm not going to pay a bunch of people money.
Well, I think a lot of media companies are going to the over-the-top direct-to-consumer services instead of having to pay licensing fees out to other services, and they'll just directly take the money that way as opposed to getting a percentage.
Yeah, but I just buy seasons once they've had their run through iTunes. I don't want to pay for a subscription service. That's just me. Let's talk about people's arms.
Yes.
Let's talk about some fit people. Josh Brolin. Typically, he's not like an in-shape guy, but he's always been a healthy individual.
Yeah.
Images of him as Cable have been released.
Dude got gassed.
I assume that means he's fit and in shape.
Well, gassed can be like a couple of things. Like, I'm gassed, like I'm tired, or he's got some gas going right now. He's operating at a high level.
I'm often gassy.
That's different, totally different, totally different. But dude's jacked right now.
Yeah, he's huge.
He got big.
Like when they're like, we're gonna have Josh Brolin as Cable. I'm like, how? Then I saw the photos. I'm like, oh, that's how. Extreme exercise. And I was flipping through his Instagram. It's all just like, look at my arms, look at my shirtless body. I'm like, you earned it, sir.
Well, if you had a body like that, wouldn't you put it on display?
Yeah. Yeah, he's earned his druthers.
So that's why you don't post pictures of yourself on your Instagram. You haven't earned that yet.
I'm also not a big social media guy.
No, not really. That's why I'm king of the social media for the show.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you're going to take a selfie where you're holding up the phone and you're looking away like, ooh, who's taking this photo? I don't know, that camera's there.
I don't do
like,
that.
That's
no.
every single selfie you take. You always look away like, I don't know, there's a camera there.
Who, me?
Yeah, yes, that's you. That's every selfie you take. You're like, what's up this over here?
I'm looking contemplative.
Just look at the camera. It's fine. You know it's there. You're the one doing it. You don't need to pretend like it's not there.
Next time you take a picture of me, I'm going to look away.
Just
people won't know.
Every time. Like,
And we can play a game. Did Zach take this picture or is it a selfie?
Well, you can always tell because your damn arm's up.
I'll put my arm out I'm like, no, Zach, don't take a picture of me.
Look away. Look away. I'm taking a selfie.
Look away. I'm hideous. Not all of my selfies are like that.
Literally everyone.
Whatever. Shut up.
You have a pattern. It's fine.
Whatever.
Speaking of arms, Evangeline Lilly has started shooting for Ant-Man and the Wasp, and she got jacked.
They are bigger than mine.
This is like Linda Hamilton and Terminator 2 kind of jacked.
Stacked.
Like she could kick the crap out of you. You, the listener. I don't care who you are. Oh,
Swole.
She's in crazy good shape.
Arms are bigger than the ocean, hotter than the sand.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was just saying she looked very healthy and in shape.
Mm.
That's really all I had to say on it. Then you said some weird things.
Riptide.
Yeah, like that. But I mean, Paul Rudd got really in shape for the last one, and she's really in shape for this one. Ant-Man is apparently the movie where everyone goes to get crazy jacked, unless you're Michael Douglas.
Muscle cranked.
You spend too much time around kids.
I did. Yes, that's true. Sorry.
We start with some comic news. Let's finish with some comic news.
Yes,
I think this is going to be a short show this week.
Well, probably.
It's fine.
Yeah. Got to get it out on time. Ish.
We're not there to... Look, it's not here to be a space filler. We give quality, and then we get out. We give some stuff, and then we get out. I work with what's there on a week-to-week basis and get out.
You've been doing that for most of your life.
Yeah.
No, like we always say, we look to provide 3 quality minutes.
I can't make news that isn't there, and I don't want to talk about the stuff that doesn't matter.
Well,
There's a lot of Bumblebee casting news.
stop pontificating and start newsing.
Some Transformers news. No, we're not going to.
You hate Transformers.
I know. I don't talk about the Transformers news. I took a stand.
You hate Michael Bay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't hate him as a person. I just hate what he puts out into the world.
So you hate his life, his craft,
I don't hate his
what
life.
he puts himself into.
I just hate his art.
Well, what if you had art and somebody was like, I hate your art?
That's fine.
Okay. Just going to let water off a duck's back.
I usually enjoy that more.
Water off a duck's back?
Yeah, I mean, that's the tastiest water, purified.
Feather pure.
I was like...
Drake water.
Reading dumb internet comments is always funny to me. I only got a few of those this week.
Only a few?
Some from Twitter, some from articles.
Okay.
They all brought me joy.
You do like the unrequited internet hate.
My choice is
irrational.
I just like to leave it there. Like, that's always the hardest part, is just like not just making fun of them. Like, no, just leave it. It's better this way.
You don't respond to the trolls?
No.
You don't allow yourself to be trolled?
I always want to.
You want to fire back at the
Well,
trolls?
it's usually I think of something and I go, damn it, I can't say that.
Well,
Or I could, but it's not worth it.
I'd love to see some of your possible, your thoughts of responses.
It's not worth it.
Oh.
Because, I mean, what's the best I'll get out of it is I'll annoy someone I don't know. The worst I'll get out of it is they'll find my business and give me a 1-star review. Which I don't want that.
No, you don't want a 1-star review. You don't want to have what they call a Yelp disaster.
Yeah.
But if they're already calling you an idiot on the internet, they're capable of anything.
It's fine.
Call them out for their bullcrap.
Doesn't matter.
Don't let the haters win, Zach.
Don't I win by them clicking through my things and giving me money?
That's a good point. You should just respond with, well, you clicked on the article. I still got paid.
Yeah. A little bit of comic book news. It's announced today that King Kong is getting another comic book series.
More Kong.
But this was going to be King Kong meets Planet of the Apes.
What?
I want that.
There's a lot of monkey there. Whole lot of monkey.
I care less about the Planet of the Apes, but like, the sounds fun.
Will there be space dinosaurs?
I don't think so.
Will there be dinosaurs?
I bet there will be, because it's going to involve Skull Island somehow.
Will there be big monkey fights?
I hope so. There's little monkey fights with a big monkey.
Ooh, but space dinosaurs.
Regular dinosaurs. I guess future dinosaurs, because it's in the future. Spoilers for the original Planet of the Apes, because this is going out with the Old Heston one.
Ah.
So yes, there will be a Dr. Zaius.
Yes.
Dr. Zaius.
Mm.
But I don't know. It's a newish writer. I've only read 2 issues of a thing he's ever done. I liked the 2 issues I read, so hey, we'll see. I'm excited about it though. And then this is more coming in as a public service announcement.
Ooh. Beep, 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 beep. I don't even know if that was real Morse code, but it sounds like a... This public service announcement is brought to you by Editor's Note Comics.
Mr. Miracle #1 came out this week. It's going to be a 12-part series by Tom King and Mitch Gerardis.
Okay.
Gerads. Mitch
G. Mitchie G.
That came out this week. That is phenomenal. Like crazy. Like if you don't...
I did see your tweet about it saying it's going to be an instant classic.
Yeah, like if you don't buy it, you're just wrong. Like not spending your money on this is the wrong choice.
Are you saying I'm making a bad choice right now?
Probably. It reminds me a lot. I mean, some of it's the panel layout, but it's very Watchmen-esque in its delivery. And it's setting up a bunch of stuff, and it's just really damn good. Buy the book.
Zach has spoken.
Yeah, a lot of times it's like, like what you like, but this is one of those ones, it stands out.
Okay.
This is a good book. Buy Mr. Miracle.
Available at Editor's Note Comics.
For now.
210 Water Street in Hollowell, Maine.
I don't bring anything home. I was looking at that one, I'm like, maybe I'll keep you for a rainy day one day.
But you've already read it.
Yeah, but to sell it, I'm saying.
Oh.
To sell it at a higher price than I can sell it now.
Oh.
I should sell it at a higher price now. Like, it's gonna be good.
I know. I read the future.
Yeah. I'm not gonna come out and say that a lot, but that's what you should do. Go read Mr. Miracle.
Okay.
And buy it. Particularly that second part. And I guess that's it for the news.
Light news week.
I can't control how much news there is. We're even doing this a day later than usual.
True, you can't control the news. Although I guess I've heard rumors that we're going to get another Star Wars trailer second half of the month. What else was there?
Yeah, I mean, they released...
Some nice posters were out when we were at the movies last night. I liked the Ragnarok poster a lot.
Yeah.
That's pretty badass.
Entertainment Weekly, they put out a bunch of Star Wars stuff this week, but I mean, it's mostly like, here are some photos. Here are some interviews. But I mean, it's not really revealing a lot.
I was hearing rumors that there might be Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker Force Ghost in this.
There was rumors about that for episode 7 too. Like there's concept art of it, like legitimate concept art, not just like here's what it might look like.
Well, he's also been seen around Pinewood Studios, so
could be very possible.
A lot of people think that some people were speculating, well, he wouldn't have had as big a role at Star Wars Celebration as he had if it wasn't true. Which I want to be like, no, he was in half the movies.
Yeah.
Well, no, he was actually in like
2, a third,
33%,
less than a third,
yeah.
Whatever 2 out of 8 is, so a quarter.
Yeah, he's in 25% of the movies.
There we go. That was us doing math.
Good job. So if this comic book thing doesn't work out, we can open up our own accounting firm.
Was that like 2 minutes of attempting basic math?
We got it down.
But from there, let's get into an Editor's Note Comics movie review.
Movie review.
Ba-doom-boom.
I'm the best there is at what I do. But what I do best isn't very nice.
It's time for an Editor's Note podcast review.
I want to do this a little bit differently than we normally do. Normally we stick to full non-spoilers. This is going to be a movie that's going to be a lot easier to talk about, I think, with slight spoilers. And this is going to go for the books and movie. It's not going to be like, this is how it ends and all that, but it's a much easier movie to talk about if we can speak a little more freely on this topic. As I mentioned before, I've read all the books, love them to death. Was waiting for this movie, and it was a movie.
Okay, well, how about this? Let me quarterback this. I will interview you. Normally, it's like Jared's reading corner. How about Zach's movie corner?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Little put on that. So, for those who aren't familiar, The Dark Tower is an 8-novel series by Stephen King that ties his whole multiverse together. Correct?
Yep. Wasn't originally intended that way, but yeah, this spans 8 books plus a short story in the, I think it was 2000 collection of short stories, Everything's Eventual. Started as just a small Western. It was published in a magazine over 5 different parts, making the first book the shortest, and then eventually ended up being expanded out into a Lord of the Rings style magnum opus connecting all of King's work and King himself in the real world.
He was going through some stuff at that time.
Well, this took over 20 years to come out its entirety, so that's, Yeah, someone has stuff going on out over 20 years. Things will happen.
All right. So the basic premise of the Dark Tower is that the Dark Tower is the center of the universe, and there's good and evil. The good being the gunslingers, who are kind of like knights, and you have the Man in Black,
Descendants of Arthur, like King Arthur.
yes. But you also have the Man in Black, who is kind of evil.
And in a bunch of Stephen King books, he goes by different names sometimes.
Yes.
Most notably in The Stand,
Yes, as
Randall Flagg.
Randall Flagg. But the Man in Black exists on multiple levels and in multiple places.
Yeah. And one of the big problems that the movie has, it doesn't explain Roland's motivation. Back to front, Roland's whole thing is he is going towards the tower. He doesn't know why he's going towards the tower. He is drawn to it. There is an unseen force that makes him go there. Like, he will sacrifice anything along the way to get to the tower. The tower is his goal. He has to get there. You know, it was never brought up once in the movie.
He needed to get to the tower.
Like, just not brought up once. Totally off the table.
And as a clarifier, though, this movie is intended to be a sequel to the books.
Yeah, but you don't need to know that going into it. If you haven't read the books, it's fine. It's not a sequel. But if you have read the books, it is a sequel, and I'm not going to explain how that is. But
Yeah, that's a big spoiler.
yeah, and yeah, if you haven't read the books, it's fine. But if you had, this is a sequel. This is supposed to be building towards the end of the story.
All right. So we have that. Immediately, though, the movie didn't open like the way you thought it would. We did not get the iconic line of the Man in Black fled across the desert and the gunslinger followed.
No, instead, we spent the first third of the movie with a little kid who's a good enough actor.
Yeah, but the first line of the movie, though, was it said that the mind of a child could bring down the tower.
Yeah, it's kind of combining the last book and the first book, and we're skipping over a lot of the middle stuff, and the middle is definitely the hardest to adapt because that's when you're going to, the land of Oz and Maine and Salem's Lot.
Mm-hmm.
And on a psychotic train that talks.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in these books. But what this movie really suffers from is it had a $60 million budget, and you can feel every dollar of that. This movie struggled to make the movie it wanted to be. It does a lot of corner cutting to try and fill out 90 minutes. 90 minutes is crazy short.
Yeah. It didn't feel like 90 minutes, though. I'm not saying it felt long, it didn't drag on, but it was it kind of felt rushed at the end.
Whenever you see a movie that's... Dark Tower should be an event movie. This should be a big deal. This movie's been in development hell for 10 years. It's finally been made and it's only 90 minutes. Why do you make a short movie?
For maximum viewing.
Yep, sneak in the most screenings if you have a short movie. So if there's ever a big movie that's under 100 minutes, you know the studio has no faith in it.
There's a little peek behind the curtain.
No, it's not my curtain.
But still, you pulled the curtain back. You curtain puller.
I've destroyed the art of cinema. Brought it down to brass tacks and numbers.
Yeah. But we get basically the story of Jake, who is he's not really the focal character in the books, as you said, but he's the focal character of the movie.
Yeah, he's definitely our point of view character. I hate boring point of view characters.
You thought he was boring?
I hate point of view characters to, if you need to have them to get me in there, that's fine, but then stop using them. Then switch to the interesting part. You have a legitimate movie star in Idris Elba, and instead we're just following the point of view characters. Once we meet Idris Elba, hand it off. You can hand off a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it just never happened. It was all about Jake. And
do you think, just vamping on this a little bit, where this is an extension and a sequel to the books, if you look at it through that lens and knowing what you know about the series, do you think more things make sense now? Jake's dreams are more flashbacks than they are actual, visions?
No, because no one who's in the story knows that it's a sequel.
Fair enough.
Only the audience will know. Even that audience is only the audience who's read at least the last book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It goes into the lore, but doesn't explain it for new audiences, and then doesn't go deep enough into the lore to make it satisfying for people who have read all the books.
Do you feel
so
like
it walks this weird middle line?
Do you feel like there was too much content for one movie, and for whatever reason they didn't want to make multiple movies, so they tried to shoehorn as much as they could with minimal exposition into one movie?
They needed to explain it somehow, and you have an easy way into that explanation. Roland is explaining things to Jake. He's training Jake to become a gunslinger.
Were you not satisfied with the amount of exposition? I know you're a show don't tell guy.
But you have to give context.
So you don't
Like
think
it's not a smart enough movie where it's like you need to like pay close attention. Like if you're not paying attention, you're getting left behind. They just do things and don't like all right, that's a thing. And there's lots that didn't get brought up. Like we have the Dark Tower. They explain like the point of like Randall Flagg or Walter as he's called in this, which is accurate to the books at first.
Walter Odin?
Yeah, then they switched the name later on. And originally he wasn't intended to be the same character, then it became it.
Okay.
But he's trying to bring down the tower. The way you bring down the tower is they have beams. 12 beams that lead to the tower. It's kind of shaped like a wagon wheel around it. You take out enough beams, the support system goes, tower falls, all the worlds collapse. This is all connected to every universe. They explain that at all?
Just that the tower was at the center of the universe, and if it fell, that the world would end and the universes would end.
Yeah, so they didn't explain the beams at all. They didn't talk about Midworld at all. Roland says once in the movies, which is a big thing for the books, like the world has moved on. Essentially, it's not saying there's like an apocalypse necessarily. It's just like this world is kind of getting used up. Its barriers around it are becoming weaker. That's why we see like an amusement park in the middle of it all that's bled over from Keystone Earth, main regular Earth. But they don't explain that kind of stuff. They just, a couple of things are in there. No explanation for the audience. And it's too brief of action scenes.
So you still haven't really answered my original question. Do you think this movie would have been better done as a 2 or 3 movie series?
I want them to keep going with these movies because and this is, how the first book goes as well, as it is just about Roland and Jake. When we get into the second book, we start getting a bigger cast, and a cast that will stay throughout the rest of the series. And getting that additional ensemble really adds a lot, so you don't just have like Roland and a kid talking for the entire thing. You get a couple other interesting adults. I mean, I can't wait to get a heroin addict and a crippled girl with 2 personalities in there.
Talking about the movie or the store?
Please.
Please, the movie, not the store.
Yeah, I don't need any heroin addicts rolling through. I mean, unless you're going to spend money, then, your money's just as good.
Okay, well, moving on.
Hey, that's the way of the world.
It is the way of the world. We know that there's hopefully going to be more movies. They've talked about a TV series. I
don't know. I mean,
but do you think the movie... I feel like the movie did kind of set up, like, if they wanted to do more movies.
Yeah, I mean, they hinted a lot of stuff. If you're looking to the scenery and the set pieces, they're hinting at a lot of stuff to come. But they only gave this movie $60 million, and it's number 1 right now, but I bet this weekend it's going to take a massive drop because of its terrible reviews.
$60 million, and it only made just over 12.5?
It made 19 opening weekend.
19. It'll probably recoup its money.
Yeah, I mean, $60 million, double it for marketing. Actually, maybe not for this one because they barely marketed it. I don't have faith that they're going to do more after this, which is too bad. I wish where this movie suffers, it suffers in budget. Because, I mean, going through it, I can tell that the people making it know the books. They know the material. They like the material. And they want to tell this story, but they're just...
not given the ability or the vehicle to do that.
Yeah, and I think some of that's their own fault. I mean... What
were King's impressions of it?
I mean, he's always positive.
Yeah. He's just happy to see it on...
Whenever there's crap out. I mean, God, the thing he's spoken at the most of is like Kubrick's Shining. And then he made his own version of The Shining, and that sucked. Side note, don't watch the second version of The Shining. It's no good. Read the book. Fine book.
Watch the original movie. Fine movie.
Yeah. Oh, you were sneezing.
What were your thoughts of Matthew McConaughey as the Man in Black?
He's fine. He didn't really do much. He came, he performed. He wasn't bad. He didn't stand out. I'm not going to remember that as like a great villain performance.
I thought he was good in that role. Like, he's just like...
he's not bad.
Pulling the strings. He's not... my impression of the Man in Black is supposed to be like he's evil, but he's like cunning and he's very calculating. And
he's supposed to be a manipulator more than anything.
I got that sense from McConaughey. Like, he was just doing his thing and he had a plan behind the scenes.
I mean, at the end of the day, this isn't a bad movie. Like, it certainly does not deserve the bashing it's been getting in reviews. But on the other hand, it's also... I mean, it's good, but it's not great by any stretch of the imagination, and it's a bit of a missed opportunity.
Well, I think the challenge in adapting a Stephen King novel like that is he flirts with so many different genres in his writing that the movie can't be all of those things.
Well, it can't be these books. I mean, these books would be a licensing nightmare. I think I've talked about it before. At one point, they fight an army of Dr. Doom robots who are riding horses, who have lightsabers and Harry Potter snitches that are essentially grenades. There's a lot of licensing in that. Like, they're not going to get to do stuff like that. I it could be their own fault for trying to.
Well, again, like you
deeper
said,
into
they
it.
don't have to do that because this is happening after the books.
Yeah, no, they're not going to, like, and that frees them up a little bit, but they almost would have had an easier time adapting the first book. The first book isn't crazy supernatural yet. That really starts to happen in the second one. The first book is, I mean, there's some supernatural elements in it, but for the most part, it's kind of a restrained Western with a little bit of supernatural. Like, that is a much more filmable movie, but that also mostly involves just people in a desert, which might not be as visually interesting.
They did it in Star Wars. There were people in a desert.
Yeah, for a third.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of time. They also were in snow and the forest.
Yes, you've identified different locations in Star Wars.
Thank you.
They were also in space.
They're also, yeah, that's also kind of like Maine.
There was a Star Wars.
There was. It didn't really work out very well.
Never does. I don't know. I liked it. I didn't love it. It does not deserve the beating it gets. I wish there was more to say about it. It's just kind of fine.
Well, as somebody who didn't know anything about the universe, I enjoyed the movie for what it was. It felt more like a popcorn movie. It wasn't. I felt like it had a bigger story to tell, and it didn't get a chance to tell that story. And there were some more things I wanted to see. I wanted more flashback to like the gunslingers. I want to know more about them because they're so revered. They're like the Jedi of this universe, the Knights of the Round Table. Like I wanted more of that kind of fill out about that. And what else? Like, you know, more about the Man in Black's motivation. We never really get his motivation, other than he just wants to bring the tower down.
You see that he's working for the Crimson King. They don't say his name. His symbol is there a few times. You see the words Crimson King spray painted on a building once or twice. But yeah, they never actually talk about the Crimson King, which I guess is a play on the band King Crimson.
Yes.
Best known for 21st Century Schizoid Man. Good song.
I have nothing to add in regards to that, but I felt like I didn't ever understand the Man in Black's motivation other than just being evil. Like, what's the end game for him? The destruction of the universe is also the destruction of him, wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
So why does he want to end everything? What's his motivation for that? And I never really think we got into that. Did they get into that in the books? Like, why? Other than that, he's an operative of the Crimson King?
It's mostly that. He's mostly just a pawn.
Okay.
They play him up as like the big thing in the beginning, and then they're like, nah, he's just a pawn of a bigger evil.
Ah. But he also was a central character and really evil in The Stand. Like, just hell-bent on evil and destruction.
I mean, in that, he killed half the world.
Yeah, that's a
Or
good
more.
point. With the super virus.
Yeah, however many were killed in that. I don't remember now. I've read it in a couple of years.
Plus the nuclear meltdown of Las Vegas.
Not a super nice guy.
No.
I don't know.
Not to be confused with Johnny Cash, who is also the Man in Black.
I like him better.
Yes.
I enjoyed it, but it's not great. On the other hand, on our patented review system, I say see it in theaters and then buy it on Blu-ray. Also Redbox it, maybe stream it. So this movie gets more money, so they'll continue to make these.
You want to keep throwing stuff at it.
It feels like the early 2000s when I was like, I'm just seeing comic book movies because they're there.
And they need to have money.
Yeah. It kind of felt like that again, like, I'm here
Now,
because I need to be.
I would also say see it in theaters. I thought it was good. It's a good popcorn movie. Now, here's the real set of questions I have for you. We went to a movie theater that served food and alcohol during the movie. Talk about that experience a little bit. How did you feel during that? Like, it was reasonably priced food. It wasn't terrible food. I enjoyed my hamburger and
I
French
wish
fries
came
and
back
beer.
around for another beer.
Well, the movie was 90 minutes. It
I know
wasn't-
that was the problem. It was so short of a movie, they couldn't come back to bring me a second beer.
That's yeah. Did you like that experience? 'Cause the last time like you said last week, the last time you had seen a movie in the theater where they served food was when you saw Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, so it's been a day or two.
Do you
It
think
was
it took
fine.
away from the experience
it
at
was-
all? It was different.
It was interesting enough. It's not interesting enough for me to want to drive that far on a regular basis.
Yeah,
It
but
was
$5 movie on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
But you end up spending about the same amount of money as you would to go to like the normal cinema on a weeknight, and if you got like snacks and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, it was fine. I wish I could get beer at a regular movie.
You could sneak it in like a flask or something.
That's illegal.
Yeah, well, so is like bringing in like other foods to movies, and people do it all the time.
That's you. You do that. You bring in red vines
No, I buy the Twizzlers right there at the
or whatever you
movie
bring
theater.
in.
Yeah, I don't bring anything anymore.
Okay, you've
I guess-
upgraded.
I guess it's illegal as far as like public intoxication is probably concerned.
Yeah, like you can't just have open containers of alcohol unless you're like in New Orleans
Oh,
or Vegas. Then you're fine.
or downtown Hollowell.
No, that's not legal
Oh,
there.
it's not.
I don't know. I wish I could I feel
You wish there was more?
Yeah, and I also feel kind of bad that I'm so neutral on it because this was something I was really excited about, and I'm not like 100% disappointed, and I'm not 100% in love with it. I'm gonna watch it again, if you want to go with that. Like,
To kind of break it down and get a little more into
yeah,
it.
I'm interested. Like, I'm not like,
I would say for you, this is pretty high praise, though, because usually pretty black or white on something,
well, even
and you
going
wanted
into
it to
this,
be good. And
My expectations were also shot to hell ahead of time because the reviews were so bad. When I watched them, like, yeah, it wasn't that bad.
why do you think the reviews were so bad? Just because
Because it's
a lack of understanding in like the Dark Tower series?
Yeah, it's kind of generic. There's nothing really that stands out about it. Like, unless you already know the world, what is there that stands out?
Not much.
Like, there's no... Now I feel like I'm see it in theaters, but there's really no memorable action scenes. Idris Elba does the best he can, but it's not like he has a ton of material to work with. The villain is kind of okay, and we mostly focus on a kid doing kind of the Hercules in New York bit.
All right, I can buy all of that,
So it's just kind of generic. It's not great.
but it's not bad.
But because it's has touchstones of a thing that I love so much, I'm a little more forgiving of it, I think. Because otherwise, it's just kind of there.
Well, you said the same thing about Batman v Superman. You're like, I want oh no, Suicide Squad. You're like, I want this movie to be good, and it wasn't in your mind.
No.
How does that translate differently?
Suicide Squad was objectively terrible, and this is just objectively okay.
All right, and there it is. The movie, objectively okay.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of, on our way back from Pennsylvania, we stopped at this gas station, and they had exceptional coffee for sale.
Ooh, good for them.
It was exceptional coffee. It wasn't like great coffee or good coffee or outstanding coffee. It was exceptional coffee. So this was an exceptional movie.
So yeah, so something I've been waiting for years. It's fine. Yeah.
Is it
I wish, because I mean,
is
even
it like
last week I
having
was
that
so
person that
excited.
you've like always had a crush on, and you finally get to kiss them, and you're like, it was what it was.
Well, I'm married.
But back in your Cavalier days,
Yes,
you didn't really operate like that in your Cavalier days. You were a man of the world back then, Zach.
I was a man of action.
Anyway, let's move on to letters to the editors.
Lot of questions, number one. Damn few answers.
Here's another one of your letters to the editors.
Make it so.
I got a good one. This is mostly a you one, but
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
try.
I'm here, ready to answer.
Well, it was really directed at the two of us because it has a twist. There's a twist ending,
Ooh, okay.
and I think this is gonna be the most exciting part of the show.
Well,
Put that in the description. Like, hang
right
on
now,
till the
right
end.
now,
It
this
gets
has
better.
been an exceptional show.
It's been me going, yeah, it's fine.
It's been objectively okay.
Yeah. Consensus. So we
Okay.
both need to agree on this.
That's highly
I know this,
unlikely.
I know
Yeah.
this is gonna be
It's a
difficult.
tall
for some of
task.
them.
But the most entertaining part might be us trying to come to some sort of consensus.
Rank all of the Star Treks. All right, so
Okay, are we?
we gotta categorize first.
Yes, please.
Animated series. We're gonna count that with the original, or is it its own entity?
That's his own entity.
I consider it part of the original series. It picks up afterwards. It
Okay.
doesn't really affect the story, and it sucks.
Okay,
but-
so I'm going to ask a clarifying question. Are we talking like rank the crews, like the different series, or are
I
we
just took
ranking
a-
the movies?
No, rank like all of Star Trek. Like not like every episode, but like which series is the worst? And the only one that I would consider like the first 6 movies would definitely go with the original series. Same with Next Generation, and then the newer movies are its own thing too.
Okay, so yeah, animated series tie in with original series. I can sense that.
All right, so we got. I guess that's not really going to affect its standing.
Okay.
Animated series sucks. Don't watch it. But it has all the original cast.
Yes.
Roddenberry's involved, so I say it counts. It doesn't really affect the lore at all, but whatever.
Okay.
But I mean, you could say that about a lot of things. You could like cherry pick things like this doesn't really affect anything. All right, so objectively the worst, Enterprise.
Oh, I agree.
I'm
Absolutely.
gonna stop saying objectively in this episode.
Consensusly,
Objectively, yeah.
no, Enterprise is the worst.
All right.
The next worst after that, probably, and people are going to get real sacrilege on it, original series. But it's a tie between that and Voyager.
No, I put it at Voyager.
Yeah.
Because not that Voyager. I don't think Voyager is bad as people say it is.
It's just not very good.
Like if I was gonna think of let me think of all of the standout Voyager episodes.
Well, at one point we had
I don't know, some of the ones with 7 of 9.
we had 3 series going on at once.
Yeah.
It's Star Trek inundated with Star Trek at that point.
Yeah, and Voyager.
So we have
was
Voyager. Well, yeah, because Voyager also didn't have any movies to go with it, and the original series had some movies that kind of bailed it out.
Well, even original series, I feel like people don't talk about the 6th movie enough, because that's a damn good movie.
Undiscovered Country.
Because, like, 5 is so terrible. And
5 is, which one's 5? 5 is the one where Spock's brother goes to find God.
Yeah, and Shatner
What's the
directs it. They
what's the
sing
name of that
Row,
one?
Row Your Boat Together.
What was the name of that one? That was, I'm gonna come up with it. I can't think of it. Give me a hint.
Final Frontier.
Ah, yes, it's the Final Frontier. That was a hell of a hint. Thank you.
Yeah, just telling you it was easier that way.
Yeah, that's when Kirk is climbing El Capitan and falls, and he's always like, I always knew I was going to die alone.
Row your boat. Yeah,
We're
that
going to
one.
engage in something known as the Campfire Sing-Along.
I mean, so season 1, some great episodes. Season 2 starts to fall apart. Season 3 is totally unwatchable, and then like half the movies are good. Maybe more, because I think 1 sucks and 5 sucks.
It's the even number. It's the even numbered Star Trek movie.
I know people say that. I don't agree with that, because I don't think Search for Spock is really all that bad.
Yeah, Wrath of Khan is pretty good, though. Wrath of Khan's really good.
Yeah, Wrath of Khan's good, but then people are like, the odd number ones. Search for Spock is fine.
Yeah, the first one, though, is garbage.
Oh, yeah, it's so boring.
It's unwatchable.
But we do get the Star Trek Next Generation theme because of that movie.
We do, yes.
Because, screw it, it's not the Star Trek motion picture theme.
No.
It's not a joke I can steal for myself, but I've heard people like refer to it as the unmotion picture. Fair. It's real boring. And it has that pedophile from Seventh Heaven, so now that has a weird added thing to it.
And it plays that theme like 100 times.
Yeah. When they have like, I probably can't call them that. That was an inappropriate term for them. We'll refer to them as the self-pleasuring shots of the ship when they're just so proud of what they're doing with that ship. Like, look at it. It's so big. We're going to go slow.
Because we
just
want to
look at it.
We want to pad out this movie's 2-hour running time.
Yeah. All right. So we got Enterprise, Voyager, original series.
Yes.
What do we got left?
You have DS9 and Next Generation.
And the new movie series.
And the new movie series?
I'd probably... above or below original series?
I think it's on par with it.
Because it's easier to sit through, like, yeah, the second movie sucks.
Yeah, I'd say
but
there
it has at least 66% good, and Beyond, Star Trek Beyond is really great.
Yes, I would say it's at or just above.
That's actually Star Trek Beyond is probably the most enjoyable Star Trek movie.
I like First Contact a lot.
It has some issues.
Yeah, but I think they all do.
Beyond probably has the fewest.
Yeah, but I don't think it's enough to push that above DS9 or Next Generation.
No, but I'm saying movie-wise. You know, I'm going to put the movie series above the original series. That's right.
Like I said, it's at or just above it. So
right.
I would agree with that. And then DS9 is in second and Next Generation.
All right, well, that was easier than I thought it would be.
Yeah, well, no, it's because it makes sense, because it's the only way to rank them. Don't get me wrong, DS9 has some really great stuff, and some of the early, like, first half of season 1 of Next Generation is hard to watch in places.
The first 2 seasons, except for Measure of a Man.
Measure of a Man, Encounter at Farpoint wasn't terrible.
Yes, it is.
I mean, all things
out of the first 44 episodes, 1 are good. That's not a good ratio.
But it kept going.
Yeah.
There's some other good ones in there as well. I just think they cared. It was bold of them to kill off a major character in the first 12 episodes.
Well, it's because she wanted to get out.
Well, at the time,
bold that somebody quit.
And boy, didn't she regret that.
Yeah, but then it gave Worf more to do.
It did. It gave Worf more to do. It gave Geordi something to do, too.
Gave Data something to do.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, because they did it.
Do you like... I love that line that's inserted into First Contact about how long it's been since he's been... and it was that long back to Tasha.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, there we go.
Which also means he didn't put out for that woman in engineering who he was quasi-dating.
Yeah. When he was trying to do all like the appropriate responses.
Honey, I'm home. Oh, that was easy.
Yeah, that was. I thought we were gonna like have an argument about something.
No, I mean
straightforward. There we go.
Yeah, because it makes sense. It's right.
All right. Speaking of things that are right, if you want to find the show, you can go over to editorsnotecomics.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you want to get the show a day early, throw $1 our way a month. Just throw it into the air. You can do that over on patreon.com/editorsnotecomics. And oh yeah, I have a signing coming up.
Yeah, later
August
this month.
26th.
Steve Levine.
is going to be up signing. His signatures are free. And there's going to be a big sale that day, too. And I guess you're on Twitter.
I'm on Twitter at Junior Rich.
And that's the news.
That was a
Or the
record show. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not. Oh.
No, we got
Yeah.
close to where we normally are.
Yeah, it's only a little shy. Once I go through editing, it'll be...
It'll be fine.
Oh,
Not every show can be like an hour and 5 minutes.
we usually hit like 58.
Yeah, that's not bad.
We'll be at like 48-ish. Let's see how close I am to that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Next week,
Thor. Ragnarok and roll. Unless someone
baby.
dies, we have to adjust our schedule.
That's so morbid, dude. I mean, why you gotta be like that? So next week we talk Thor Ragnarok, and really it's the rock and roll portion of it.
Yeah, we're really just
Thor's-
jumping to the Ragnaroking of
Thor's
it.
coming right around. That's the next movie, isn't it? It's the next big one.
Yeah, I think it's the next one we're going to do. I'm probably going to go see Blade Runner, but I don't think we're going to do a show about that because it's in the middle of October and I want to do Halloween shows.
Yay!
I can't wait for Halloween. That's going to be one of my favorite shows.
Yes. Also, so we got Ragnarok. That's in November.
Justice League.
Justice League is in November,
Star
and then
Wars.
Star Wars in December.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Moving forward.
All right.
We'll be back for
next week.
a thing that I know I have a stronger opinion about. Woo! See ya.
Bye.